Hello and welcome to Ibrahim Rants, the show where I just moan and complain about a random topic for 25 minutes or less. And today we're actually talking about an interesting topic that I didn't think I'd be talking about, but I received a sudden, I guess you can say, brain blast, and I suddenly had a bunch of ideas, and this is one that I just wanted to record immediately and talk about. So today we're actually talking about confidence, which is a topic that, again, I didn't think I'd be talking about, certainly not in a run. I mean, there's not really much to complain about that, but I was reminded of a time. I was looking back on my old episodes, and I remember looking at the college memories one, where we talk about our college stories, and in that one I mentioned that I was bullied. And I was looking at that and I was thinking about the effects of that bullying, because that did have an effect on my character. I think that lowered my self-esteem quite of a huge amount. On the negatives, it really did lower me completely. I started hating a lot of things about myself, especially things about my hair and my teeth and my nails. Those specific things I really started hating, because those were things that bullies would target, and I got really insecure about those. But on the positive, I think that really did help me. It humbled me a lot, in the fact that I'm not someone who is above anyone else. I'm not someone who, I think it made me a lot nicer of a human being, because I knew what kind of feelings that you would feel when you got bullied. So I never actually engaged in anything like that myself, because I knew how bad it was. But I wanted to talk about confidence, because that bullying really did have a hit on my confidence. And I was thinking about all the times of how from then to now I've recovered. And I think I'm a lot more confident from that point forward. Especially in from year 10, I'd say year 10, year 11. But before then, let's talk about year 7. In year 7, I was completely dead silent. I guess you could call me invisible. When I say invisible, I don't mean I was literally invisible, but I mean I was there, but no one really knew I was there. I sort of blended into the background. When people were talking, I sort of just kind of stood there, not really saying anything, because I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to embarrass myself. I didn't want to blend in and become open. I wanted to blend in, because then people wouldn't pick on me, and that's something that I really put a lot of stock into. And I think that continued into year 8 and 9. I was a crazy introvert back then. I remember it was something that I found it incredibly difficult to talk to people in a lot of ways and aspects. And to be honest, I think everyone's sort of somewhere an introvert in certain aspects. I don't think anyone is a complete extrovert or a complete introvert. I think it is more of a spectrum, where there's the introverts, the extroverts, and what's the middle one called? Ambivert or something? But I think everyone's an ambivert at certain levels. Some are really introverted, but they're not full introverts. Some are really extroverted, but they're not full extroverts. And I was very much in that camp of, I'm extremely, extremely introverted. One of the things that broke me out of that was actually humor. I really wanted to be funny. I think that's something that I've always wanted. I've always aimed for that. I think I'm generally funny. A lot of people do describe me as pleasant to be around and pretty funny sometimes. I can't really come up with jokes on the spot, but I am able to come up with funny, witty counters sometimes, I believe. Though I'm not fully there yet. I'm not on hilarity levels. I'm only there somewhat in certain situations, in certain discussions. Like talking to you now, for example, unless there's someone else to bounce off of, most of the time I won't have a joke just ready to go unless I've been thinking about it for a while. So, there's a lot of things. But when it came to humor, I did have some stock leading into year 10. And there was a certain individual who I won't name. Stupid motorbikes making noise outside. I hate it when people take silencers off their motorbike. It's still going. I don't even know if you can catch that in the video, but there's someone revving their motorcycle outside. I hate it when people take silencers off their motorcycles. I don't care you have a motorcycle. Anyway. There was a girl in year 10 and in year 11 who sat next to me in my science class. And I won't name her, because I don't want to, I don't know if I should. But she gave me that confidence, because she actually laughed at my jokes. And that's something that, people, my friends laughed at my jokes as well, but that she was an actual quote-unquote stranger that laughed at my jokes. And I think that really took me out of my shell, and it gave me a huge surge of confidence that I didn't have before. The fact that there was a stranger treating me like a human, not just either throwing an insult at me or pretending I wasn't there, things like that. that really meant a lot to me, and I don't think that person will even see this, but that actually did mean a lot, more than they can ever imagine, and it impacted my life. To this day, I don't think if I hadn't met that person, I don't think I'd be as confident as I am now. And I think I have a lot of that goes to that person and the teacher who sat me next to that person. Fun fact, I actually developed a little crush on the person I sat next to as well. I never actually followed through with it. I think she knew, but I never followed through with it because of my tragic fish and chips tale. I knew I wasn't ready for something like that, so I never actually continued it on. But I think that really boosted me up. I think another thing I wanted to talk about was mechanisms for confidence. One of the things that I use, which is really bizarre, I think, and I wasn't really sure if I should share it, but I think I will, is that I have a persona in my own head called Ibs. And Ibs is basically what I want to be. He's confident, he's funny, he's smart, he's relied upon, and he's respected. And that's something that I want. Now, of course, I've had Ibs in my head for a long time, so he has developed and he's gained superpowers and all sorts of stuff. But at the core of it all, when it comes to the confidence, the important part of the matter is the fact that he knows what he's talking about. He's calm, clinical, collected, he's respected, he's extroverted, things like that. He's able to do these things, and that's something I'm aiming towards. And it actually does help me to think about things like that. And it's so bizarre to think about because it's in your head. Like, it doesn't seem to, it doesn't seem to mean anything, but for some reason that does impact me. I've actually made a promise to myself that I will turn Ibs into a game at some point. I'll make a game centered around this character at some point, just to kind of bring him into the real world a little. I don't even care if the game doesn't even do well. I might not even publish the game or anything. I just want to make a game with him in it, just so he's kind of in the real world a little bit. But that's a pledge for a long time in the future. I don't plan to learn programming for a long time. I don't think I can barely do my stuff as it is. I'm in university, I need to get a job and things. I don't have the time for it right now. I'm balancing the podcast. When I actually I have the time, I'm just really good at wasting it. So when I get better at not wasting time, then maybe I'll do it. But for now, I can't do it. When I learn to program in the future, a million years from now, then I'll do it. But I think one of the things I wanted to say was, no matter what it is that you use, whether it's shadow boxing in your room randomly to pump yourself up, or making these people in your head, or sticking sticky notes on the wall, or giving yourself speeches, motivational speeches and pep talks, or whatever it is, no matter how ridiculous it seems, it works. It does work. And if it works, no matter how stupid it is, if it works, it ain't stupid. I don't know who came up with that statement, but that one applies here. That works. Even though it's a ridiculous idea, that's a persona that I've created in my head can give me, IRL me, some confidence because I want to become like the person I've made in my head. The fact that that can even help me out it seems so ridiculous, but the fact that it's worked, I think, is one of the things that just shows me that, it's just about finding what works for you. And for me, no matter how ridiculous it is, if it works, it works. So whatever it is, just make sure you use it, because confidence is something we all need. I think people tend to forget that nobody is truly confident. I don't think. Everyone has some sort of self-doubt in them, something they don't believe they can achieve, no matter how well you try to hide it. We all have insecurities. We all have things we disagree with. We all have things that we know we're not good at. That's something that's in everyone. Even if you don't know you have it or not, everyone has an insecurity. That's just a fact. And I think people forget that even with the worst insecurities, there are people out there in the same position as you. So you're not alone in that kind of thing. And it's important that whatever works for you, you use that to break out of that system. To be honest with you, the confidence boost and going from an introvert to an extrovert is probably the best thing I've ever achieved from school, I think. When people ask me what's my greatest achievement, what have I learned, I think that's my answer. The fact that I've gone from a completely silent stone who wouldn't talk to anyone, who was unfriendly with people, only with a few select people that I had known for a while, only them I was good at talking to. But aside from that, I didn't talk to anyone. Going from that to now, I can talk to people I've never met before and, communicate and become friends with them and things like that. And, that's probably my biggest, achievement, something that I'm really proud of myself of doing. We recently started university, and one of the big challenges from that is making friends. And that was an incredibly difficult task for me. But the moment I got into it, of course, I still had my introverted nature. I still think I am somewhat introverted. Like I said, no one's a full introvert, no one's a full extrovert. I still have difficulties going up to people and talking to them. But when I get into that groove, the fact that I'm able to just start communicating, the fact that I'm able to just start having conversations is something that I would never, my year 7 me would never have dreamed of being able to do. And I think that's something that I'm really proud of. And I hope that anyone watching this is able to achieve that as well, because it's necessary, to be honest, to be able to have those people skills to talk to people. Being alone just isn't worth it. Of course, there's people who don't like people. Everyone's circumstances are different. I don't want to make it seem like you have to do these things, but when you're making a video online, when you don't know who your audience really is, you kind of have to generalize. But it's a big help to be extroverted. I mean, especially in practicality. I've been applying for jobs recently, and all of them say we need someone friendly, active, extroverted. It's just a thing that everyone needs. Extroversion is something very important. I think, speaking on insecurities as well, humor was a big insecurity of mine. Another insecurity of mine that's very odd is being respected. I always want to be respected. I think being respected has been a goal of mine for a long time. I want people to listen to what I have to say. I want to be able to make an impact in a room. I don't want to be ignored if I say something, or, oh, that's just Ibs, he doesn't know what he's talking about, I just ignore him. I want respect. And I think an insecurity of mine is that nobody respects me, nobody likes me, everyone's just listening to me and then going on with their own business. I don't know how to feel if that's even a good or a bad thing, but insecurities exist for us all. I just wanted to share that one because I feel like it's a bit weird. The fact that, the respect is something that I've always sort of aimed for. I feel horrible a lot of the time when I feel like I'm not being shown that kind of respect. I mean, respect is necessary for everyone. Respect is a big thing that I could make an entire episode on respect, really. But to gain some of that respect, I feel like becoming extroverted has helped in that. And just overall, respect is just one of those things that it's always puzzled me. Because you're not able to really tell. People are really good at hiding that kind of thing, that do they respect you or not. They'll listen to what you have to say, but then will they actually, pay it in mind before making a decision, or whatever they do, or wherever the circumstances are. It's a very odd thing to think about. But that's something I just wanted to mention because insecurities come in all shapes and sizes, and it's one of those things. That's one of the bigger ones I have. Does this person truly like me, or are they just speaking to me because there's no one else? Does this person truly think that I'm a good person? Does this person think that I'm worth talking to? Do they really think I'm funny, or are they just playing along? Does this person have respect for me? Am I respected according to this person, or are they just talking to me because they are taking pity on me? Things like that have always plagued my mind, and behaviors I've done, even though it's pretty wrong. I remember drama GCSE in year 10. That was another thing. That was supposed to be a huge confidence booster. Drama was a complete waste of time. It was worthless. It didn't boost anything. To be honest with you, I was entering it in an era where I was getting better and I was getting more confident. It was really hard for me to speak publicly and get up on stage at that point. I remember one time in English, I forget what year it was. I was year 9, year 8. One of the years, it wasn't year 7. It was year 9 or year 8. I think year 9. But I had to give a book report, and I stood up to give it in front of the class, and I was shaking like a leaf the entire time. The entire class could see I was shaking like a leaf. It was a simple book report, and the class was small, but I pushed through and I gave it, but I had to grit my teeth and push myself up and give it while shaking like a leaf. And to go from that, and then GCSE, I was entering that confident phase. But it feels like it's weird that confidence boosters didn't even come from drama GCSE. Drama GCSE just served to make me angry. I mean, I'm glad I did it because I've met some lifelong friends from there. Friends that I don't know what my life would be without. There's a lot of friends. In particular, I can think of about 3 that I'm good friends with right now that I would never have met if it wasn't for drama. And I think that's just amazing. The fact that I'm really happy I did drama. There was a lot of memories made from it, but confidence was not something I gained from it. Another thing that I gained confidence from was from my work experience. I worked in a coffee place as a barista and as a front of house staff. One of the workers there, he really helped with me because he used to constantly say, the thing you need is confidence. Not the, oh, I don't think I can do that, but the can do attitude of, oh, well, so what if I can't do that? Let me try. Let me see if I can succeed. Let me see if I can actually make this work. That's something that he gave me. That also improved my confidence. But yeah, that's sort of what I wanted to mention um, today. I'm not going to try and extend this and make this longer than it needs to be. But that's really what I wanted to say. Confidence is a very important thing that is necessary for many things. I truly do believe that anyone can gain that confidence. It's just about what works for you. And like I said before, no matter how ridiculous the strategy is, like I said, I used to kickbox it up. I used to shadow box in my room and create stories in my head of this magical creature called Ibs that had everything that I wanted, and I just pretended like I wanted to become this fictional character in my brain, and that it boosted my confidence. It's a ridiculous thought, but no matter what it is, no matter how ridiculous the idea is, if it works for you, it works, and do it, because I think anyone can gain confidence, and it truly is personal to you. I truly hope that I'm not the only one who does that as well. I hope there's more people who have people in their head that they try to become, because it would be really weird of me to be alone on that. But I'm not. I assume people do it. If you do, I mean, we don't receive comments on this channel, but maybe let me know in a comment if you find this video in the future when we've somehow become successful. If that ever even happens. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. Thank you for watching this Ibrahim rant. Hope you're able to gain that confidence if you don't have it yet. And if you do have that confidence, well done. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Hi there, it's future Ibrahim, and I thought I'd come in just to add a little extra thing about the context of why I recorded this episode, because I think I want to mention it here. So when I ride to university, the university is 2.5 hours away by train. And yeah, it's a very long commute. It's extremely tiring, but I couldn't find accommodation. That's a whole nother rant that I'm gonna do, and that one I'll actually be angry in that one. But these rants are completely unscripted. I just kind of sit in front of my phone and just start speaking into my voice recorder thing, and that's it. And I was sitting in the train, and all of a sudden, this huge influx of like desire came over me, like, oh, I really want to record this actually. I want to record this topic. And so I literally came home super tired, closed my door, sat down, and just recorded everything that you've just heard. And I think that's just really cool. Hopefully, I'll be able to structure these a little bit more, but I wanted to mention that because that's never happened to me before in this level. And I'm glad that I'm finally able to, because in my I speak to like I have like an internal monologue. I think a lot of people have internal monologues. I rant to myself a lot. I think my inner voice is very ranty. Like I'll just in my head I'll just pick a topic and just start speaking about it over and over again just to myself about something random, like what happened that day. And to be able to record some of these more like important, deeper conversations, things that can actually be used for entertainment, and to finally be able to turn them into something that I can do out loud, is really cool. And the fact that I can finally turn these crazy ramblings in my head into something coherent that can be used to entertain people is really cool to me. So yeah, that's just the context behind why I recorded. I'm rambling again. You see, I'll ramble in like all of these because again, it is unscripted. I ramble a huge amount. Hopefully my editing comes in to cut it down somewhat. I obviously can't cut down everything because there's context behind things I say later on that I said previously, but I try my best to cut it down as much as possible. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.